Hi, it is good to see you. And I mean that. It is good to see you across and through this screen into your space wherever you are. It has become one of the few ways in which we are able to be connected. Sometimes we get to see each other in passing or with an elbow bump. But for some of you, we have not seen each other in person for 10 months. So I reiterate, I am really pleased to see you in this form, through this camera, through this screen, to where you are. I do feel like we are connected. I come to you today because Clifton United Methodist Church has a couple of challenges that we have to face. The first is COVID-19 infection and the coronavirus, and we live in a county and exist in a county that is now purple. So it is time for us to remind ourselves of the protocols and to double down on the very important practices that are going to reduce the transmission of the virus and keep as many people as possible safe and sound through this time. So you will see in your Cliff Notes today a reiteration of those principles and protocols, which we will practice. That means we will not be having gatherings of um, any more than 10 people, either inside or outside, and that we'll keep all of the practices of face coverings, physical distance, and paying attention to cleaning and washing hands that we've always done. Take a look at that. In addition to that, because of what's happened at the Capitol last week and increased fears about violent attacks against other federal government buildings and other institutions outside of Washington, D.C., I just want you to know if you're reading anything on social media or you hear anything about churches needing to be prepared for something like that, you don't need to worry because we are prepared. We do not meet and worship in person, so we are not at risk in that way. And we keep very secure borders on our building in terms of locking those doors so that folks who come need to ask for permission to enter. That's one of the ways we keep people safe from COVID, and it's one of the ways in which we will be able to be secure no matter what happens in terms of violent attacks over the next few days. So whatever you see on social media, know and bring calmness to it and know that we need not be afraid. We serve a Christ who is with us and who has provided us all the means for us to be safe with one another. And that's why I can say to you today that we don't need to worry. We have come through some other challenges along the way. We've been challenged when we started including LGBTQ people in our congregation. And yet we discovered as we faced those challenges, faced those protesters, we discovered strength in one another. We've been together when we saw the intersection between Black Lives Matter and LGBTQ justice and pride. And when we did that, we met resistance, real challenges. And yet we discovered that we weren't alone, that Jewish communities, Muslim communities, other faith communities, and people all over the city gathered round us to strengthen us and help us. And then finally, when I was facing the attacks of the denomination against my marriage and ordination, we stood together. And as we stood together, we discovered that God was hard at work in us and through us, not just to get us through the challenge, but especially to help us be a witness to others. So we could put a sign on our building that says, no matter what your reality is, you're a beloved child of God. We discovered that ourselves. We shared it with the world, and it became a witness through a very challenging time. So I say to you, these challenges we're facing today, they're big, but they're not bigger than God. With God, all things is possible. All things are possible. And with God's help, we are going to be stronger as we face these challenges together. So join me as we do that.